I love you.
What is going on, everybody? This is Mike Hughes, and you're listening to Mike on the Mic and Everything Chicago Sports Related podcast. Today, we're in here, man. We're talking about it. The Chicago Cubs game number 2 in spring training 2024 was an absolute blast. The Cubs remain undefeated in spring training. I know no one's really counting, but I'm always paying attention. But with that being said, man, the Chicago Cubs win this game 8-0. Craig Counsell obviously wasn't there this game. God bless him and his family, putting his mother to rest. She passed away just a couple of weeks ago. He's back in Milwaukee handling his business. So our thoughts and prayers are out with him. First and foremost, he was not the acting manager today. But with that being said, the troops rallied around him. They did not miss a beat whatsoever. Tommy Hotovy and company were there today, and they absolutely performed on all levels. Now, we had Drew Smyly start the game. This wasn't exactly what we wanted. It finished 8-4. I stand corrected. I started this in the 9th inning. I did not expect that. But with that being said, I want to get into it. What did we see that was positive? There were 3 big takeaways from today's game. I think one of the biggest ones that we're going to be looking at is for the Chicago Cubs, how can we continue to get prospects in here and get them in positions to have success? Obviously, you got Matt Mervis DHing today. You have Matt Shaw at second. Now, is that where they want to be? No, they want to be in the first. They want to be, have these conversations and that, they're going to be everyday first baseman. They're going to be everyday third baseman, but that's just not where they're at this point in time. For me, with the Chicago Cubs right now, I think you're trying to get everybody in position to have success in spring so we could see where they're at going into the season. That's really where I'm coming from with it. I hope all you guys are kind of with me on that because I understand everybody wants to see Matt at first. Everybody wants to see Bush at first. Everybody wants to see what the opening day roster is going to look at, but you have to understand that this is the point in time where we get to experiment with some stuff. You get to see PCA bunt with 2 outs because you want him to get better at that. You get to see a Matt Mervis DHing even though he's hitting $150 at the MLB level because you want to see if he can potentially handle that. What we saw today was a lot of guys coming together and a lot of guys having success. The biggest thing for me, the biggest takeaway was Brennen Davis. Brennen Davis, who's a friend of the pod. We're going to have him on tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of fun. What a day. I'm a loss for words at Brennen Davis's performance today. It was absolutely incredible. He starts off the first inning, you come in, you boom, right away. You get a double, you throw away. So it's kind of a single, but it turns into a double. He gets an RBI. Then you get a home run later on in the game. He ends the game with 3 RBIs, 2 hits. Absolutely phenomenal performance. This is a guy who was once ranked the #1 overall prospect just a couple years ago in the Cubs system and has gone down due to the fact of having back surgeries and lingering injuries that have just kept him from getting to the major league level and continuing his development. And we've talked about it all off season long. The best ability is availability. It's going to be really unfortunate. And yeah, I understand. I did just make a video during the 9th. Bottom 9th. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go downstairs. I'm gonna go make a video really quick about the top 3 takeaways. I said it was 8-0, and not sure what happened, but it happened. So I'm very sorry if that says 8-0 on the video. But with that being said, man, it was a lot of fun to see Brennen have production today. It was a lot of fun to see him get after it. It was a lot of fun to see him be the best version of himself. That's really what we want to see. And if Brennen continues this, not saying he has to hit a home run every game and 3 RBIs, but if he continues having success, I think you're going to be at a point to where you can make an argument that he might be able to make that opening day roster. He has spent more than enough time in AAA Iowa. I think the only real reason you have him down there is to get his feet back under him. His feet seem under him right now. We're going to be talking to him tomorrow live on the pod, live on TikTok, which is going to be a lot of fun as well. But with that being said, I think you're starting to see a version of him where he feels comfortable at the plate. He's not playing catch up. He's trying to be the best version of himself, and he's able to do that because he's fully healthy. What's going on, JF1? But, that's really where I'm at right now as it pertains to Brennen Davis. Now, for Matt Mervis, I think we're in a place where I just want to see consistency. You know what I mean? Whether you're consistently bad or consistently good, I want to see consistency. Yesterday, Matt Mervis at the plate was afraid to chase anything that wasn't right in his sweet spot. Kind of at a place right now with him where it's like today he had a solid day. You bring in 2 runs, brought in obviously by Brennen Davis. And then you look at that and you say, okay, well, how are you going to play tomorrow? You know what I mean? You have a walk today, you have a hit today, you have a pretty solid performance at the plate, but yesterday was atrocious. And I understand yesterday was the first day, so I'm not going to take too much into that. But, you have to look at it for what it is and understand that guys like Matt Mervis are going to stay at that AAA level until they get that consistency, until they can be everyday first baseman, everyday DHs. We still haven't seen Michael Busch yet, and I'm really curious to see how he continues to develop. We know, just like Matt Mervis, what they are at the big league level. Right here, right now, I have to make an argument and say, if anybody wants to counter this, that's perfectly fine. Matt Mervis and Michael Busch are kind of duplicates of each other when you look at what they've been able to do at AAA and when you look at what they were able to do at the MLB level. For the Dodgers and the Cubs last year, both Busch and Mervis in the big leagues were horrible, batting under 200, just weren't great whatsoever. But in AAA, they're home run hitting machines. They're batting over 250, 300. You know what I mean? Like, they're great there. So we just need to see it at the big league level, and we need to see the consistency. That's where really I'm at right now as it pertains to Matt Mervis, as it pertains to so many other guys. I don't know what somebody just wrote in here. But I think at the end of the day, there's going to be levels to it, and there's going to be a lot of conversations about how it looks. Now, something that didn't look great today was Drew Smyly. Drew Smyly came out of the gate as horrible as he finished off 2023. Absolutely horrible performance from him yesterday. I wasn't really excited about it whatsoever. I'm not going to sit here and say that it was bad, but I'm not going to sit here and say that it was good by any means. There was nothing positive I took away from Drew Smyly's outing today. The only thing positive I really took away from it was Ben Brown relieving him. And Bren didn't look great either, but it was just nice seeing him do that. You can find this hat, I believe, at any Clark Street Sports in Chicago. But with that being said, I think Ben Brown was really one of those guys where I want to see him continue to grow and continue to develop. Just like yesterday, we saw Caleb Killian have a lot of success. I'm still in that boat with Ben Brown. As the season continues, I think we're going to be in a place to where Ben can just be the best version of himself. We saw a little bit of him last year in AAA. I felt like he would have got that September call-up if he finished the year healthy. He just had a lot of stuff going on. But with that being said, it really does come down to consistency. You know what I mean? You want to see these guys have success. And some people even said in the comments, today doesn't matter, tomorrow doesn't matter, but it does matter for these guys individually. The Cubs are 2-0, and that's great. But at the end of the day, I think what you're looking for is the commodity of what you're going to be able to get come opening day. Are guys like Kevin Alcantara going to be ready? Are guys like Owen Casey going to be ready? We saw it defensively. Owen Casey was solid today. I loved his plate appearance as well. He had a 3-2 count. He was really able to just be the best version of him at the plate. Didn't really turn into what we would hope it would be into a run or into a hit. But, it's definitely something where I think Owen Casey is making a stride in the right direction as well to be in AAA and maybe even finish the year out in the majors. And I heard Boog and a couple of people talk about, not every single one of these guys is going to be the face of the franchise. You know what I mean? Not every one of these guys are going to be on the next World Series championship contending team. We have 7 top 100 prospects. Some of these guys are going to be dealt. You know what I mean? That's just the sake of it. I love James Triantos. I love Brennen Davis. I love Owen Casey. I love Matt Shaw. But some of these guys can definitely be dealt. Not saying who is, who's not. Pete Crow Armstrong. I'm not gonna just name those guys either. I'm gonna say Pete Crow Armstrong, Matt Mervis, Michael Busch. Guys can be dealt. You know what I mean? If you get a Mookie Betts, if you get a Shohei Ohtani, and not to say those guys are available whatsoever, but if guys become available and you can get a Shane Bieber for a James Triantos, or you can get, well, who else could I go out there? I mean, we could even in a Corbin Burns deal. If you could have flipped a guy like Brennan or a guy like Owen, as the front office, you have to take those things into account. So to just see guys having success, whether it's going to be at the major league level or not, having success is very important because it means your value goes up. It means the possibilities of you coming to the major league level go up. There's a lot of factors that go into it if you're obviously Carter Hawkins and Jed Hoyer right now. So I'm excited about it, man. We saw a lot today, and how can we not talk about the boat, the vessel, David Bote going deep late in the game, 7th or 8th inning. I forget exactly when it was, but he goes deep, and you love to see it. A lot of people forget David Bote's even still a part of the Cubs organization. I got to see him and talk to him last year during September when I went up for media for Iowa Cubs baseball. But it's it's crazy to think that, he was once so highly thought of, the grand slam against the Nationals and what he was able to do coming to the bigs, playing with Rizzo, Bryan, and Baez, and the fact that he's still here. He's one of the core guys that's still here. Now, he wasn't part of the 2016 core, but he's been here since what, 2017? You know what I mean? So you have to feel for him, and for him to have that success. Hey, maybe if he continues that success, maybe we start having conversations about Bote at third base again. And not to say that is happening, not to say I'm manifesting that or I think that's going to happen. But I think it's definitely a conversation right now to where David Bote understands, just as much as anybody else, that third base spot is wide open. You know what I mean? And of course, Christopher Morel's taking reps there every day. Today we saw Nick Madrigal taking the spot, which is crazy. Seeing Nick Madrigal go up against a guy that was 6'1". Nick Madrigal stands at 5'8". We're the same height, so that's the same exact thing I would be facing, which is crazy. You know what I mean? It did not look right if y'all saw that image. It's a cool image to look at. We had a picture right now that was 6'11", which was absolutely crazy. But with that being said, man, that's really all we have today. There wasn't too much to talk about. There wasn't a lot of talk of the town. We saw a lot from Alcantara. We saw a lot from, obviously, Matt Mervis. Miles Mastrobuoni, again, every time I question why he's still on the roster, he shows me exactly why he is. So shout out to Mastrobuoni for always proving me wrong, being a utility guy, getting out there, getting hits, and doing exactly what's needed of him. But, tomorrow we're going to continue to see what's going on. We're going to continue to see Cubs development. Make sure you hit that follow button if you haven't already. We're going to be covering Cubs content every single game, every single day. It's going to be a lot of fun. Until then, I'll check you guys out later. Stay safe. Peace.